Christmas morning 2002, Jack Whittaker is sitting in his car outside a gas station in West Virginia. He has just won $315 million, dollars, the largest single-ticket lottery jackpot in American history at that time. He is already a millionaire, a self-made construction company owner worth $17 million dollars before he bought that ticket. He knows how money works. And 9 years later, he's broke. Not just broke, destroyed. His granddaughter, who he called the love of his life, is dead of a drug overdose. His daughter is dead. He has been robbed, sued, and arrested. And in a 2007 interview, Jack Whittaker said something that should stop every person who has ever bought a lottery ticket completely cold. He said, "I wish I had torn that ticket up." So what happened? Because this is not just Jack's story. Studies show that a third of lottery winners declare bankruptcy within 5 years. One third. People who were handed millions of dollars gone in just 5 years. This is not bad luck. This is not stupidity. This is your brain doing exactly what it was built to do. And by the end of this video, you will understand precisely why, and why the same psychological forces are probably already working against your finances right now. Even if you have never bought a lottery ticket in your life, let's start with the thing nobody tells you about getting rich overnight. It stops working almost immediately. There is a concept in psychology called hedonic adaptation. The idea is this: your brain has a happiness set point. When something good happens, a raise, a new car, a $300 million jackpot, your happiness spikes. But within weeks, sometimes days, it drifts back down, back to baseline, back to normal. The technical term is the hedonic treadmill. You keep moving, you never actually get anywhere. In 1978, psychologist Philip Brickman and his colleagues published one of the most uncomfortable studies in the history of psychology. They compared the happiness levels of lottery winners and people who had been paralyzed in accidents. The lottery winners were not significantly happier than the accident victims just 1 year after their win. Let that land for a moment. $315 million felt like $315 million for about 3 months. Then it just felt like Tuesday. So what does your brain do when the joy runs out? It goes looking for more. Bigger house, better car, a boat, a second boat. The spending is not greed. It is your brain chasing a high that biologically cannot last. And here's where it gets worse. The spending does not fill the gap. It raises the floor, which brings us to the second mechanism at work. Psychologists call it reference point theory. Here is how it works. You do not evaluate your life in absolute terms. You evaluate it relative to a reference point. When Jack Whittaker was worth $17 million, his reference point was his $17 million life. The moment he won $315 million, his reference point shifted overnight. His old life did not feel comfortable anymore. It felt small. So he upgraded. He bought his wife a new home, then another. Then he started giving money away in massive quantities. $14 million to charity in 1 year alone. Not because he was reckless, because his brain had recalibrated what normal looked like. And once your reference point shifts, it almost never shifts back down. This is why athletes who earn $20 million careers go broke. This is why executives who take pay cuts, even to jobs they love, feel genuine psychological pain. This is why you felt richer at 22 on $30,000 a year than you do now earning twice that. Your reference point moved, silently, without your permission. And the spending that follows a shifted reference point does not feel like extravagance. It feels like survival. Within a year of his win, Jack Whittaker had received over 400 requests for money per week. Friends, family, strangers, churches, charities, former colleagues, everyone had a reason, everyone had a story. And Jack, a generous man by nature, gave $700,000 to a woman whose house burned down, millions to churches across West Virginia. He handed cash through his car window to strangers on the street. Psychologists call what happened next sudden wealth syndrome. It is not a character flaw, it is a recognized psychological pattern. When your wealth becomes public knowledge, your entire social ecosystem restructures around it. People who were never close become close. People who were close start to feel entitled, and the pressure to spend, to give, to provide becomes relentless. Saying no stops feeling like financial prudence. It starts feeling like selfishness. Here's what makes this so psychologically brutal. The same empathy that makes you a good person becomes a vulnerability. Your brain has a social pain network. It fires when you feel physical pain. It also fires when you let someone down. These are not separate systems, they are the same system. Watching a family member struggle while you sit on millions genuinely hurts. So you give, and you give. And the reference point of the people around you shifts too. Their baseline now includes you as a financial resource. And when the money runs out, and it does run out, you lose them anyway. Jack Whittaker lost his money, and then he lost everyone he had given it to. Here is the thing that most breakdowns of lottery winner stories miss. This is not a story about money, it is a story about identity. Jack Whittaker built his wealth slowly, over decades. His identity as a successful man was built on the process, the struggle, the decisions, the discipline. The lottery handed him an outcome with no process attached. And psychology is very clear on what happens when outcomes arrive without the mental framework to manage them. We call it locus of control. People with an internal locus of control believe their actions shape their outcomes. They feel agency. Sudden wealth, unearned, unplanned, unworked for, smashes that framework. You did not build this. You cannot manage what you did not build. And without the psychological architecture to hold it, the money flows out as naturally as it flowed in. This is why studies consistently show that wealth built incrementally is retained far more often than wealth won or inherited, not because earned money is worth more, because the person who earned it is psychologically different from the person who received it. The money does not change you. The money reveals you. Jack Whittaker died in 2020. In his final years, he gave interviews saying he wished he could go back. Not back to before the ticket, back to a version of himself before the money changed what everyone around him expected him to be. Here's what I want you to take from this. You are probably not going to win $300 million, but the same forces that destroyed Jack Whittaker are working on your finances right now. Every time you get a raise and immediately upgrade your lifestyle, that is hedonic adaptation. Every time you feel guilty saying no to family who need money, that is your social pain network firing. Every time you buy something expensive and it stops feeling exciting within a week, that is your reference point shifting. That is your brain running the same program it ran on Jack. The question is not whether these forces affect you. They do. They affect everyone. The question is whether you understand them well enough to push back.